Hi everyone, my name is Rajan Bhalla. I am the Chief Business Officer and Group CMO for Hindustan Times. It's absolute pleasure talking to you guys today. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about grooming and a few other things that I think are important in life and also as you go into your work life. Well, let's start with grooming. And let me ask you a simple question. When you look at two little kids or maybe a little grown-up kids going to school, one who's very shabbily dressed, the uniform is the same, and the other one is very, very well groomed. Do you have a different notion about the two people? Well, I think you would. So grooming starts from very early age, and it is an extremely important thing and kind of travels with you as you go forward into your college life and becomes even more important as you get into your work life. I always believe that there is usually no second chance to make that first impression. And what do you see first when you meet an individual? You see the person. You see the physical self of the person. You see how well groomed, how well turned out the person is. And that's why grooming plays a very, very critical role in establishing the first impression. But is grooming only thing that kind of makes that impression? The answer is a big no. But grooming comes first, then comes confidence. Imagine when we hire trainees first time and we go to interview them, everybody is the same, right? It makes a lot of difference on how well groomed they are, what is the kind of confidence they have, what are their communication skills, are they able to kind of put across their thoughts in a simple, cogent manner. And of course, then comes the content, how intelligent and sharp you are in terms of your ability to kind of move things. When you look at all these facets, so whether I look at grooming, I look at confidence, I look at communication skills, I look at content, when you get all of that together, you become an unbeatable package. Years. Power of positive thinking is the other thing that goes very well with grooming. I think you may be very well groomed and all of that, but if you don't have a positive outlook towards life, you will have a problem. Please remember, life is not a straight line. It moves up and down, but if you keep a positive outlook, you are bound to get out of the low in your life. I am pretty convinced, having worked for so long, that there is absolutely no substitute for hard work. The big message that I want to give out to you today is start making that first positive impression on people by being well groomed anytime, every time. Thank you guys.
Hello and welcome to the session. My name is Suman Agarwal. I am the Director and Master Image Consultant from Image Consulting Business Institute. So today we are going to touch upon this topic called interview ready. But before we actually go there, let us share some interesting statistics. So the statistics is that by 2020, India is going to be the youngest country in the world with the average age of 29. It also means that 34% of the total share of population will be youth. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
So with this excitement, there is going to be tremendous competition. Do you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah.
And in this world of competition, how do you set yourself to be the best from the rest? So let us see, how do we become interview ready? So we are going to touch upon 4 important aspects of interview ready. We all know that when it comes to skills and when people go for interview, everybody is well versed with the technical skills and the hard skills. But what really people don't pay attention to is the soft skills. And when it comes to becoming interview ready, paying attention to details is very important. Correct? So there are four important aspects on the basis of which people select or get rejected. So the four important aspects are appearance management, grooming, body language, and general etiquette. These 4 points are the elements of image. How do you build your image? So what really matters the most is that what really people who are sitting in the interview think about you or perceive you in first few seconds. It is very well understood that you cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in a costume of failure. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
So how do you achieve success? That's the most important question. How do you achieve success? Anybody? Success comes to those who get noticed. Do we all agree with that?
Yes.
And how does one get noticed? That's the most important thing. When we talk about the non-verbal communication, there are many people who think that the impression that gets formed on others is on the basis of what we talk. Is that right or wrong? So even before you actually open your mouth, something else is doing the talking. And what is that something else?
Appearance.
All right.
Body language.
It could be appearance, it could be body language, but the most important 3 elements that you need to keep in mind in the order of sequence when you enter an interview room is your professionalism, high energy, and confidence. And the percentage is also allocated accordingly in the order of sequence. So your professionalism would be 86%, high energy 78%, and confidence would be 61%. So when we talk about professionalism, what does it comprise of? Does it comprise of what you talk? No, even before that, something else is doing the talking. And that is what? How you package yourself, how you carry yourself, your poise, your demeanor, everything matters at that point of time. Now, first impressions, usually people think that first impressions are formed when we talk and we tell people about what we do and who we are. But that's incorrect. First impressions are formed within first 3 to 30 seconds. And let me share with you that the latest research says that the first impression is formed at the blink of an eye. You blink and the impression is formed. And that happens on the basis of your non-verbal communication, which is your appearance, your grooming, your body language, and your etiquette. A package of everything. Here it comes. Your attire must make you feel comfortable, capable, and confident. Imagine if you're going in an interview room and you're just adjusting your clothes. Where does your focus go? And where does the interviewer's focus go? Your discomfort, your fidgety attitude, your focus is totally shifted, their focus is totally shifted, and what happens? You lose those first few seconds where you are supposed to make an impression. Hence, it is imperative that you have to be comfortable and you have to be confident in how you carry yourself. So 3 essential elements of your appearance management that are the research. You must look the part which is very important, and relate your dressing to the industry. So whenever you apply for any job interview, the most important thing is an interviewer wants to know how much you care, how responsible you are towards the organization that you want to apply a job in for. So the first important thing is that you must do a research on the organization. Who they are, what is their organizational culture, where do I fit in, how should I dress for the interview, how should I look the part? Because if you don't look the part, it means that you're not ready to fit in. And if you're not ready to fit in, how do people rely on you? Your interviewer wants to visualize how easy would it be for you to fit into their organizational culture. And if you're not ready to do that, that doesn't leave a very positive impression. So you must look the part. So if there is a dress code for an organization that a candidate must dress up like this, of course that's quite visible on the website. You must dress in that kind of a dress code for an interview so that people can see that you fit in comfortably in the scheme of affairs for their organization. Professional image types. Now we have three gentlemen totally dressed differently, right? Now what happens is, in a very common scenario, whenever an executive gets promoted to a manager, the company loses a good executive and gains a bad manager. Why does that happen? That happens because whenever you change your roles, with the change in goals, you don't change your attire. And when you don't change your attire, you still look like an executive while you are a manager. And you don't look the part. And in all probability, people presume that you are still an executive. They behave with you like you are an executive. You act as if you are an executive. So what needs to get upgraded? The upgradation has to be in the entire lifestyle. You need to change your roles, you need to change your goals, you need to change your appearance. So when you are an executive, a senior business leader, you're expected to dress in a suit, in a formal, structured organization. Of course, everything happens and everything depends upon organization to organization. So for example, the sales and service executive will always be in a shirt and a tie. But when it comes to creative and communication, so creative agencies will not be expected to wear the same kind of attire. So where you're going, what's your organizational culture, everything has to be well understood and kept in mind. So if you are going for an interview for a creative agency, you are not expected to wear a three-piece suit or a blazer or a tie. You are supposed to be dressed in a little creative manner. However, looking little more formal, little more structured. So at the same time, research on any organization that you're going to apply for a job in is very essential for you to do a thorough research before you step in. Accessories. Now when we talk about accessories, the most important thing, a very important tip for each one of you would be that whenever you apply for a job and you go for an interview, always keep in mind where do you want the attention to be. So when you want people should focus on your face, you must create a contrast in your clothes because attention goes to contrast. Do you see a contrast here? If I would have worn the same color, there wouldn't have been a contrast. So now in my entire attire, the attention goes to contrast. I have deliberately done this so that the attention remains around my face and you don't get distracted here and there. So attention goes to contrast, attention goes to lighter or brighter colors. If you reverse and if you wear a light color at the bottom and dark color on the top, the focus automatically will shift at the bottom. So whenever you are planning an attire strategically for any job interview, please keep in mind that you create a contrast or a focal point. How do you create a focal point? What is a focal point, first of all? Focal point is that you want focus to remain where you want the focus to be. So this is my focal point because this is close to my face and this is my focal point. So your attention span will always be close to the face. Therefore, when you go for an interview, it is imperative to keep these things in mind. So when you have a shirt and a trouser or a skirt for ladies, you must keep in mind that the top is either light color or bright color. So for ladies, they can always wear something bright. If they're wearing a light color top, they can accessorize or they can put makeup, which is little bright color, and the attention remains on the face. What happens with the gentleman? So for gentlemen, a light color shirt and a bright color tie will keep the focal point and the focus will be intact around the face. So you must keep these small details in mind because attention goes to small details. Pay attention to small details. You must have a wristwatch. You must have a formal belt which matches your trouser, or if you want to coordinate, you can have a belt and your shoe of the same color. Your socks should definitely be of the same color as your trouser, and then you must have a formal pair of shoes. It could be with laces. It could also be without laces, but the structure has to be formal. They cannot be loafers, sandals or sneakers, because when you go for an interview, you must look as if you are in control. You are structured and you are ready to take that responsibility because you are highly credible, highly stable, highly dependable, and of course at the same time highly accessible. So your accessories have to be minimalistic, classy, functional. They must draw attention to the face. So like I said, that you must create a focal point on or around the face. If you want people to look at your face when you're talking so that they are serious, they're paying attention, then the face has to be the main focal point. Complete your look. So nothing can be missed out when you're going for an interview. So if you're wearing a shirt and not wearing a tie, or if you're wearing a trouser not wearing a belt, it does not create harmony. And when there is no harmony, there is no unity. Everything has to be in unity, complete unity, which means that everything is complete. Whatever is not there will always create a distraction. And therefore, the minimum basic requirements are your wristwatch, your belt, your socks, your shoes. And of course, the most important thing when you're wearing a shirt would be a tie. So talking about grooming and personal hygiene, alright, so out of the two, who is creating an image and who's breaking an image? So the one
On the right.
who has a stubble is distracting. Why is he distracting? Because he does not look absolutely clear. The clarity is missing. He does not look responsible. He does not look credible. Whereas on the other side, and it's the same gentleman. Can you see the difference in the pictures?
Yeah.
It's the same gentleman. Look at the hair. Look at the beard. How credible and how responsible does he look? So all you need when you need to be clean shaven is something like a Gillette Mark III razor. It's as simple as that. So what happens when you have a person like this coming to give you a resume and saying that please hire me? Would you like to hire a person like that? Definitely not. He just indicates visually that he's camouflaging something. There is a clarity missing. You're not able to read the person very clearly. And therefore, you will think twice before hiring him. Whereas on the other side, this gentleman looks absolutely responsible, absolutely credible, dependable, reliable, responsible and approachable. And open. So there is an openness to adaptability. And this is what interviewers or recruiters look in a candidate. Look at the hairstyle, the difference, the facial hair. So everything, every small detail matters. When you have a body language where you have a stubble, where you have ruffled hair, it just gives an indication that I don't care. Sab chalta hai. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to dress up. Lift yourself up so that your body language gets a lift, your entire visual communication gets a lift. So when you see a gentleman like this, would you like to hire a person like this? Yes, of course. Clean hair, a pleasant visual appeal. Short, neat hairstyle, a professional look. Clean shaven, conventionally employer's preference. Definitely he will be the first choice of any employer. So when we talk about a very sensitive topic, yet a very important topic, body odor and oral hygiene. What are the factors because of which we get body odors? It could be stress, it could be wrong choice of fabrics, it could be wrong choice of food, it could be some skin allergies, or it could just be general lack of hygiene. Correct. So there are certain things which can be looked after and these things can be corrected smoothly. There is nothing embarrassing about talking about a concern, right? So when there are concerns, there are solutions, and let's work on the solutions to make it better and make ourselves feel confident. So when we talk about using a deodorant or mild perfumes, all we need to be is little mindful of the fact that what and when we need to use a deodorant. Right? This is one thing that you would never know about yourself and others will catch immediately. If you sweat a lot and there is a sweat patch around your underarms, there are sweat pads available. Then they absorb sweat so that there is no patch and there is no smell. So sweat pads are easily available in the market. Use mouth fresheners. So whenever there is a mouth odor, how do you test a mouth odor?
Like this.
Or otherwise, yes, lick a paper or lick your hand. and then smell after a few seconds. You will come to know. And if there is a smell, you must ensure that there is a regular use of either cardamom or a spray mint, or there is a use of mouth fresheners. You must be mindful of the fact that people who sweat and they have an odor, the primary reason also could be the food intake. So food that smell a lot also release a particular kind of odor. So you have to be very, very clear about the fact that what exactly are you eating because of which this problem arises. So food items like garlic, there could be some other food items like onion. So you have to be very careful about the fact that how much is your consumption and then reduce those foods accordingly. So talking about grooming and personal hygiene, how does this gentleman look?
Well groomed.
Pleasant, well groomed. He looks very credible. He looks very stable, very open to adapt the organizational culture, very reliable, very approachable. So what really goes into adapting a body language, grooming, and appearance like this? Your clothes must be neat and well pressed, always. So whenever you are ready for any kind of an external exposure to the world, the first thing which is very important that you need to be mindful of is the fact that how do you project yourself in front of the others? How do people perceive you? Your clothes are your visual identity. So whenever people have to remember you, the first thing that will come in their mind is, what were you wearing? So always be mindful of the fact that whenever you step out, your clothes have to be absolutely ironed. What you wear affects the way you think, it affects the way you feel, it affects the way you act and behave, and based on that people react and respond to you. When you are wearing clothes which are not ironed, you yourself will have the effect of those clothes first. You will feel lethargic. You will feel a little laid back. What happens when you're wearing a night suit? You feel lethargic, right?
Yeah.
In the morning they're not ironed, they're just crashed. It's okay. You're relaxed, you're at home. But if you do the same thing outside, what happens? When your clothes are crushed, you don't feel up to the mark. You just feel, But then if you're wearing crisp, ironed clothes, then you feel different. Because your image is inside out. And sometimes it also is that the external is internalized. Right? So your clothes must be neat and well pressed. You must have a clean shaven, neatly trimmed facial hair. Your hair is neatly trimmed and styled. Your face, teeth and body look and smell clean. Your fingernails are clean and trimmed short. Of course, your shoes have to be well polished. So if you need to package yourself for becoming interview ready, these are the most important traits and most important points that you have to keep in mind. And there has to be a quick checklist which you must be mindful of, and instantly you must do a check from top to bottom. Is everything in place? Your hair, your beard, your shave, your clothes, your ironed clothes, your accessories, your shoes, everything has to be in order. And then ask yourself in the mirror, am I ready? And if the other person from the other side says tick mark, then you're ready to go. Right? Of course, your overall image has to look absolutely professional. And when I say that the other side of the mirror must give you a tick mark, it also says that from the inside, I am absolutely ready and ready to go. So when we talk about body language, what is the most important thing that we must keep in mind? Whatever you do, whether you look after yourself, your clothes, your accessories, your grooming, your appearance, your body language, if you're not wearing a smile, what happens? Nothing works. So your smile has to be the most important element to complete the entire appearance. What you need to watch is your posture, your gestures, your expression. So if I came this morning and I was walking like this, how many of you would have trusted me that if I would be able to do the job well? You would have had several doubts in your mind. So similarly, be absolutely erect, be absolutely alert. You have to wear a smile, you have to have the positive eye contact with people. It doesn't mean that you keep staring, and at the same time, you must have pleasant expressions on your face. So you must always be very conscious about the fact that sometimes when you are doing a deep thinking and you're just by yourself, your expressions may change. So when you are amongst people, and especially when you are there waiting for your turn to get inside the interview room, you must be very watchful about the fact that how are you looking? How are your expressions? Are you pleasant? Are you grumpy? Are you afraid? Are you nervous? Mind your gestures. Control your body language. That's something which is very important. And as soon as you step inside, you make sure that you are absolutely alert. You have great expressions on your face, but doesn't mean you're giggling and laughing away. That doesn't work. So you have to have neutral, pleasant expressions. And of course, great gestures. So greet everybody. So greeting does not mean that you go down. Greeting means that you have to be, good morning, I'm so and so, and a very pleasant handshake. Be aware, observe others, and practice. There is a great art of mirroring. So mirror the expressions of the interviewer. So if they are appearing pleasant, you also need to appear pleasant. If they are serious, then you need to be serious. But just see that you mirror and you maintain eye contact. Maintaining eye contact does not mean that you are staring constantly. Maintaining eye contact means that you keep looking, and then sometimes you can also look around and then come back to looking in the eyes again. So postures play a very, very important role. Slouchy posture just gives an impression that you are thoroughly bored. Thoroughly bored. And sometimes you may not even realize that that's your body language. That is how you walk. Sometimes when you walk like this, maybe you're too burdened in life. You just want to retire. And this may not even happen consciously, you may not even know. Tell someone to critique the way you walk. And tell those people that, be my friend, be my critique. Tell me, observe if there is something wrong in the way I walk. And they need not tell you then and there. They need to observe you for a few days and then give you a feedback. Because when you become conscious, you would not realize that you suddenly stand up. But When you're not conscious about the fact that somebody is watching or somebody is mindful of the fact, you may just go like this or just go like this. And this becomes a tendency of the body to adapt. So always be watchful of the fact that you have to walk straight. Your posture has to be absolutely erect, as if you have been wired from top. But you have to be straight, your chin has to be parallel to the ground. Look up, face straight, shoulders have to be straight, not slouchy. Alright? Now when we talk about body language and posture especially, most of the time in waiting room, there are a lot of people who are looking thoroughly bored. They're tapping the toe, and then what they do? They have a pen in their hand. Why am I sitting here? Why am I sitting here? Why am I sitting here? Why are they not calling me? Why are they not calling me? Why are they not calling me? It shows that you're getting irritated, you're nervous. And people who are around you definitely get distracted. And then what happens? Sometimes you have a folder in your hand. What do you keep doing? Does it leave a good impression? Now let me tell you that there are certain interviewers who have a CCTV camera and they are watching what's happening outside. What are you doing? How are you behaving? What is your body language? What is your gesture? What are your postures? What are your facial expressions before you step inside the room? So it's important that whenever you are in a zone where you get noticed, you must put your best foot forward. So these gestures, these expressions, and please be prepared and be aware of the fact that whenever you go for an interview, there is a very high possibility that your wait time will be anywhere between 30 minutes to 3 hours, and it could be even more. So please be aware of the fact that you have to be prepared and you have to keep your mental balance intact so that nothing goes wrong, you don't get irritated. You're prepared with the kind of clothes that you're wearing, you're prepared to wait for that long. You should not start perspiring, you should not start sweating, you should not start feeling absolutely uncomfortable about the fact that, oh, I need to wait for so long. I mean, my clothes are going to get ruined. So your choice of clothes, your choice of accessories, your choice of grooming has to be keeping in mind that the wait period will be longer. If it is short, you're good luck. But if it is long, it is long and you cannot do anything about it. Sit erect with feet slightly apart. So ladies will always be slightly cross legs and gentlemen will not sit cross legs. Gentlemen will have a posture like this. Hold your documents in your lap. So whenever you're sitting, this will always be in the lap. Don't try to keep your documents like this. In sitting position, this will always remain on the lap. Have a pleasant expression. Like I said, be aware of the fact that there could be an area where you are being watched. So when people are watching you, your expressions cannot go wrong. Rest your hands on the file, not on someone else's shoulder, not on someone else's lap. and not on someone else's seat. So be in a controlled environment. Do not try to spread yourself too much when you're sitting for an interview. Alright, so let's do a little body language quiz. What does smile indicate? Confidence. Anything else?
Acceptance and expression.
Cooperation, trust, and confidence. I'm ready to help you, right? You can trust me, and I'm absolutely confident. When you walk fast, alert and focused. When you maintain eye contact, you're an extrovert. You feel confident and you're truthful. It could be that you're honest. Whenever you will notice that somebody is not maintaining an eye contact, it could be because they're not faithful, or the other way to perceive that is that the person is not very comfortable in talking to you openly, which means that the person is an introvert. But what happens when you don't maintain an eye contact? People perceive you wrongly, always. You're always perceived as if you're hiding something. You're always perceived as if you're not faithful. You're not giving adequate information. And therefore, it is important for all of you to keep in mind that whenever you go for an interview, in front of your interviewer, you must always maintain eye contact, especially when you're giving out information about yourself. So eye contact and staring are two different things. One is that you're taking eye contact so literally that you don't blink. You're constantly staring and you want to prove that I'm brutally honest. No. Whenever you are maintaining an eye contact, you also get a room to look around and be a little comfortable with yourself, and then come back to watching again in the eyes. So eye contact does not mean that you constantly look in somebody's eyes. It also makes the other person feel a little awkward. And let me tell you that you will have to switch on and switch off with eye contact, because your interviewer also needs some time to evaluate you completely. So while you are watching them in the eyes, they are not able to look around. So when you switch off and when you look somewhere else, they start looking at you and they start observing your surroundings. So it has to be an on and off kind of a situation, and make sure that there is a frequency, but at the same time there is a break in eye contact. A firm handshake, it gives an indication of being confident and credibility. So when we talk about general etiquette, like I said, maintain eye contact, state full name. So hi, I'm Suman. Suman what? This also indicates that I'm arrogant. Why are you asking me my full name? You should be knowing my name. You have my resume. No, I am Suman Agarwal. It's my responsibility to tell you my full name. So you cannot finish at just the first name. Smile, which is very important. Otherwise, I could have just said, hi, I'm Suman Agarwal. So what? So your attitude is a complete package. So you do everything, but if you don't smile, everything goes for a toss. Because everybody in that interview room, more than anything else, is also looking at your attitude. listen attentively, which is a very, very important aspect, because if you are not listening attentively and your interviewer or a recruiter has to repeat questions, it just means that you're not there. Your mind is somewhere else. So you have to be a very, very active listener when you're sitting in the interview room. Very mindful and very watchful, very alert about the fact that there will be somebody who's going to ask me a question. You cannot be preparing for an answer at that point of time. Or I need to say this, and then you miss the bus. So you have to be very careful, very mindful, very watchful about the fact that I need to listen to what he's saying and then I need to give an appropriate answer. Right? Repeat your name if and when necessary. So if somebody has not heard your name very clearly, so there could be more than one interviewer in the panel. So if one has heard your name and the other one is struggling to get your name, repeat it. Do not expect that they heard it. I am not going to say this again. Repeat wherever necessary, but do not go on repeating. See the situation, assess the situation, and then make a thoughtful decision. The perfect handshake, which is extremely, extremely important. While you're shaking hands, the most important thing is the eye contact. Okay, hi, I'm Suman Agarwal, and then I'm not even looking at the person's face. I have made a wrong impression. Forearm parallel to the body. So the forearm has to be parallel to the body. Web to web firm grip. Clean and dry hands. 2 to 3 pumps and a smile. So what is it when we say 2 to 3 pumps? What does that mean? Yes. Alright. So we need to keep in mind the eye contact, forearm parallel to the body, web to web firm grip, clean and dry hands, 2 to 3 pumps and a smile. Can we do a demonstration now? Yes. So now we are going to do a role play on a perfect handshake.
Hi, I'm Ankit. Hi, I'm Atharva.
So what did we just see? We saw that there was a great eye contact. The forearm was parallel. Then there was a web to web firm grip. 2 to 3 pumps, and of course, how can we forget that perfect smile? So overall, it was a great handshake. So you need to practice it till you do it right. Sometimes what happens is that you are shaking the hand, you forget to smile. Sometimes you're shaking the hand, you forget to give 2 to 3 pumps. So it happens. Till you make it perfect, you need to practice. Now coming to general etiquette. The first and the foremost thing is that you need to be polite. So all those people who have a very high pitched sound, volume, general volume, you need to practice to be a little polite, because you can sound intimidating when you are in the interview room. So polite means that you have to talk soft and you have to talk slow. There is a difference between talking softly and talking slowly. Soft is the pitch, the volume, and slow is the pace. So a combination of these two would be polite. And of course, your pitch, your modulation also should be, according to what you're saying while giving an answer during an interview. Be yourself. So if you try to practice your answers and learn your answers, and then suddenly there's like complete blank, what will happen? If you're not talking about yourself naturally, and if you're practicing your answers, it will not come out the way you expect them to come out, especially when you have people who are judging you sitting in front of you. And when you know that you're being evaluated by your interviewers, things cannot go right. So make sure that whatever you speak naturally and you speak from the heart. Alright, so now you're going to see one volunteer who will enter the interview room, walks towards the panelist and shakes hands and introduces himself. And we are going to evaluate how the whole thing goes. What went wrong? Was this the right way to come and be ready for an interview?
No.
Not at all. So what went wrong? The first and the foremost thing, the candidate did not knock the door and ask for permission to get in. The second thing, he just barged open, came in, did not greet the interviewer and did not say anything and just took the seat and sat. Now, is this the correct approach to come and get yourself recruited by an organization? Not at all. So let's see the correct scenario and analyze on our own that which is the correct and which is the wrong interview setting. Now let's see the same situation all over again, where Atharva has become interview ready.
May I come in?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I am Atharva.
Hello.
May I please sit?
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Perfect. So here, as soon as Atharva knocked the door, he opened and asked for permission. And once he got permission, he came, he introduced himself, he shook hands, and then he took permission again to sit. So this was the perfect way to come, enter into an interview situation. Thank you. You have to sound authentic. You have to sound the real you and not a make-believe. Because when you are not authentic, people out there who are highly experienced know who you are and what you are. And let me also tell you the most important thing. Whatever image you try to create in front of your interviewers, people sitting over there know who you are. Because these days, there is a complete reference check that happens on your social media platforms. So however nice, however good, however naive and innocent you want to prove who you are, what you are, they have already found out about you. Your character, your attitude, the way you take things, the way you are in life, how positive, how negative, whoever you are, everything comes out through your social media account. So when we go to apply for jobs, you also need to see that your image is consistent, not just physically who you are, but also on your digital platform. This is something which is very important, because when you are at a very serious stage of your life looking for a job, what matters the most is that how people perceive you in all aspects. That becomes a very important criteria. So when moving from campus to corporate, there is a complete change in your lifestyle. So you are transiting from one life to another life. What all do you need to keep in mind? There is a whole lot of change in the mindset. So from being a fun-loving, young, youthful, chirpy person to becoming a little more serious, because you're going to be in a little more structured environment, There has to be a little change in the way you think, the way you adapt things, because you are going to be now in a very responsible environment. Change in habits, very important. How you dress, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, your self-presentation, how people perceive you has to be different. So from school to college, now college to corporate. So the way you dress yourself up, the casualization has to be a little more structured. All those things have to be based on where you're going, who are you going to meet in your organization, which kind of organization you will be in. All those things make a huge amount of difference, and from the inside you need to change yourself. So first and the foremost important thing is do a self-talk that am I ready? And if you're ready, you need to go for it. The most important thing, like I said, at the end is that there has to be a change in lifestyle. So all those people who sleep till late in the morning, till 10, 11, I think you need to be very watchful about the fact that now the life is going to change. So the whole circle of lifestyle that you have, everything has to be in sync with where you're going to work, what you're going to do, how you want people to carry an image about you. And that makes the whole lot of difference. And you need to start now. So at the end, I would like to say that people treat you the way they see you. So you need to look good, feel great, and perform better. All the best. Keep rocking.